Friends, today what I'm going to tell you will sound urgent, 'cause it is urgent. India is facing pressure from many sides: economic, political, diplomatic. The rupee is at a record low. U.S. tariffs are squeezing our exporters. There's unrest across the border in Nepal. And China's influence keeps creeping closer in our backyard. These are not isolated events. These are cracks in the foundation. How we respond now will shape India's next decade. Stay with me, because what you hear in the next 40 minutes must not be missed. Every crisis has a story, and India's current story begins with its currency. The rupee, once stable, has now dropped to historic lows. We've reached nearly 88.44 to the dollar. Every drop meaning our food, energy, medicine, and even the dreams of middle-class families become more expensive. What caused this? A deadly mix of U.S. tariffs, falling foreign investment, rising import bills, especially oil, and weak capital inflows. Our exporters are complaining they can't compete abroad anymore. Importers are paying more. Inflation is biting households, and we see international investors pulling back. It's not just about numbers. It's about people's lives and India's global credibility. And then there is the story of U.S. tariffs. These are not small trade irritants. They're heavy blows. Tariffs target goods India supplies to the U.S. market, hurting key sectors like textiles, pharmaceuticals, engineering goods. When America imposes a tariff, companies lose orders, factories idle, jobs wait. And in response, we see exporters pushing back, expecting government support. Meanwhile, political pressure rises at home. People ask, why aren't trade negotiations faster? How do we protect Indian industries without losing global market access? Nepal is flaring up too. Over 13,500 inmates escaped from Nepal's prisons in a single day amid protests. Many of the escapees are wanted in India or have ties with border districts. Cross-border security, disorder, smuggling risks, all flags for India's domestic stability. Also, political polarization in Nepal feeds into public anger and amplifies anti-India rhetoric. When Nepal is unstable, our border states feel it: migration, security, political fallout, and diplomatic complications. Then we add to all this the strategic pressures in the Indian Ocean. Mauritius gets a massive U.S. $680 million aid from India for infrastructure, healthcare, maritime security. That S-smart, thought part of it is response. To other powers, China moving in, setting up influence, expecting cooperation. Investing in neighbors is necessary. But it also means ancient rivalries, power politics, and dependency concerns get magnified. Every ship, every port, every patrol becomes a chess piece. Let me zoom out. What we are seeing is India at a crossroads. If we don't fix the economy, secure our currency, protect our trade, ensure stability in our neighborhood, then the narratives will shift away from opportunity toward vulnerability. And once a country is seen as vulnerable, foreign capital retreats further. Trade partners hesitate. Geopolitical rivals press advantage. So what can India do? What must India do if it aims not just to survive, but to grow strong? First, immediate economic stabilization. The Reserve Bank must continue to manage currency volatility, but with caution. Fiscal discipline matters. Increased transparency, better support for exporters, easing logistic bottlenecks, cutting unnecessary costs. Tax relief, where possible, but not at the cost of long-term macro stability. Second, urgent diplomatic work with the U.S. Trade talks must be prioritized, not delayed. Seek to renegotiate or secure exemptions. Use soft diplomacy. Show shared value. America must see that India's export sectors matter, that trade wars hurt both sides. There must be forums, delegations, pressure, influence. Third, domestic resilience. Strengthen manufacturing, reduce import dependence, especially for key inputs. Invest in energy, security, renewables, domestic oil, gas, alternative sources. strengthen healthcare, agriculture, supply chains. Local industries become self-reliant, tariff pressure hurts less. Fifth, strategic investments in arrangements like Mauritius, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, etc., to ensure Indian Ocean dominance isn't ceded. Ports, maritime surveillance, healthcare cooperation, all part of soft power, not just military. Building trust with neighbors is critical. Finally, public communication. Government must explain the difficult trade-offs. Prices will rise, currency will fluctuate, but this is temporary. Showing people the strategy, why these steps are being taken, helps calm panic, improves confidence. Because markets and foreign investors don't just respond to facts, they respond to trust. In conclusion, India is not without strengths. Our population, innovation in tech, diaspora, democratic resilience, growing infrastructure. All these are tremendous assets. But strengths only matter when policy, strategy, and execution align. The rupee crisis, U.S. tariff pressure, Nepal unrest. These are symptoms of deeper tensions. If India acts wisely, these symptoms can be turned into catalysts. If India hesitates, the cracks widen. You must remember, every great nation has periods of strain. What differentiates a rising power from just a struggling one is how it uses those strains to reform, to rebalance, to renew. Right now, India has that chance. The coming weeks and months are going to be pivotal. Not just for trade or economy, but for how India positions itself in a competitive world. I want to close by asking you, do you believe India will navigate through these storms and emerge stronger? What do you see as the biggest opportunity or threat? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters. And if you found this analysis helpful, share it with friends. Like, subscribe. Let's get this conversation going.